But in the other case, you also see that this land is cheap, and eventually what happens is that land becomes very valuable in future. In this video, we are going to talk about cheap land versus strategic land. Are we saying that buying cheap lands are not proper or no good? No. But how do you buy cheap properties or affordable properties, as the case may be? Meanwhile, you are buying strategically. And that is what we're going to do in this live session. What do you want to say?
Well. When it comes to real estate investment, and basically most investments, price alone does not make a good investment, right? It's not the only factor to look at, especially when it comes to buying land. So that's why we're not just going to talk about cheap, talking about strategic as well.
Yeah.
Good. So it's more about how strategic a land is than the price attached to the location.
Okay.
Lots of people make mistakes, they make decisions emotionally, they see a land of 500,000, 1 million, and they jump on it thinking they found a deal. That's much more than the price. There's more to it, because in real estate, like I said, price is only one factor.
Exactly.
So we're talking about real wealth. It's not just buying cheap, but it's buying right. And by buying right, you mean buying strategically. Yes.
Okay, so at this point, if you've experienced buying properties that are very cheap, which eventually increased in value, please let us know in the comment section. How did you feel, or how do you feel you are buying the land of, say, 5 million naira, and in less than 2 years, the land is worth 20 million naira? How do you generally feel? Do you feel you would have bought more, or do you feel, this is good, or thank God this is great? Or do you feel that whenever you see an affordable or cheap properties, I would never go near it, because some cheap properties are scam waiting to happen? They are time bombs waiting to happen. So what makes a land strategic? We're going to help you understand by affordable lands and strategic lands, that in no distant time, that land or that property can give you maximum increase, maximum value, maximum what we know as ROI. Okay, so the first thing you have to pay attention is strategic land is a land that is positioned in a part of growth. In this case, we are talking about real estate in Abuja, and we know how the government sometimes focuses on growth areas, developing areas, emerging areas. So you pay attention to the locations that are growth prone, that development is heading to, that the government is focusing on. All right, so it's close to where development is already moving towards. There are locations like that. You also pay attention to an area that the government or private developers are paying attention to. For example, we have a massive project coming to Abuja known as City Walk. This project in no distant time will change the face of that location, and even Abuja generally. Imagine what happens in locations like this. Prices of that location will definitely increase, even if nothing was happening there. Because of that project, the value of the properties around this maximum project will definitely increase. So pay attention to the demands of any location. Sometimes you get to see properties that people are always talking about. Oh, have you bought property here? I had a friend who bought a property. At some point, it was literally trending, right? It was so cheap that you can buy an acre for. It was massively cheap. So he bought 2 acres as at then, and later on, there was a little bit of issue, and he was now gisting me about it, that the offer was too good to be true. And that's what we're trying to talk about. That sometimes these affordable lands, ensure that the papers are right. Ensure that this property that just came to the market, they've done their due diligence. Because I personally think that sometimes people get a land and start selling immediately. All right, they've not done the papers, they've not done any form of due diligence, and people start investing in it. So please pay attention to those kind of traits. A strategic land is not valuable because of what it is today. Pay attention. It's valuable because of what it will definitely become in future. And this form of investment is for people who don't also like quick money. If you're that kind of person that loves quick money, you want to make money immediately. I'm doing real estate investments. I bought this affordable land. and I want to sell it in 2 years, then this kind of property is, or this kind of buyers is not all right. So when you are evaluating a land, don't just ask, is this land cheap or affordable? Also ask, this location I'm investing in, what would it look like in 2 years from now and in
Yeah.
3 years from now? Yeah.
You see, she said something
Energy.
which is we're not buying land about what its value is right now. Mention that, and it's about what is likely going to happen there. And one thing that you should actually always look out for in a location is if infrastructure is growing towards that place, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually one of the largest signs that you can tell if a land that is maybe cheap right now, if infrastructure starts growing towards there, it's a sign that it will stay cheap for a long
For a long time.
Like when you see good road access or ongoing construction going towards that direction, electricity expansion projects, schools, estates, lots of estates, especially, I need to say this, especially here in Abuja. It may not be the same in some other parts of Nigeria, where it can be a hype, like at a point, pop, 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 pop. The hype is high, energy is high. 10 years later, you understand?
Yeah.
It's still the same thing. But in Abuja, once you see good access roads grow towards a place, major real estate companies buy out properties there and start marketing, then it is likely going to appreciate over time. This is because in such places, it means the land is not just on its own, like a developer didn't just buy it to stay alone.
Exactly.
It means the government is interested, the infrastructure
Exactly.
is happening. So alongside all that's happening around it, it is increasing.
All right.
It is increasing in value. Yeah, it is increasing in value. And in real estate, once there's something I heard early in the early days of real estate, says once there's a road leading to somewhere around any property, properties around there just start going up.
Definitely
The
increase.
main idea behind infrastructure is road. When you hear infrastructure, the first thing that often should come to your mind is road. Then drainages and all other things. So if a land is cheap but inaccessible, meaning there's no road leading to it, then it's not a bargain. It's not something that would appreciate over a given period of time. It's likely going to stay where it is until infrastructure grows towards that place. Yeah.
All right. So with what you just said, I just think that real estate investment is a high risk investment. Not everybody would have the chest, the mind to invest in real estate. And that's a fact. And that is okay. But if you're going to do it, if you're going to bring out your hard-earned money to invest in real estate, you have to do it well. You have to do it right. You have to strategically plan for it. Some people who do trades, some people who buy stocks, they monitor the flow. They monitor, oh, this is low, let's buy. This is deep, that's what it's called. Let's invest now, because very soon you can sell very high. So that's how it is also in real estate. You have to monitor where the development is going. Then go there and buy affordable land that has genuine titles, right? We are not saying you just go and buy land randomly, because eventually there could be a court case or there is a fight over the land, and we don't want that for you. So pay attention to the government or expansion plans of the location. All right. Sometimes in Abuja, or most times in Abuja, there's always a signal. They announce it on the news, they talk about it. Sometimes, in fact, at some point last month, Apowasa and Waru was a highlight of every discussion. In fact, Apo, a lot of people called and was asking for, do you have anything around Apo? All right, because it felt like there's something happening there. It's always in the news, and the minister will definitely always talk about his major launching, opening of roads, getting these to any district. So look for the planned district, new housing scheme, industrial or commercial zones. Commercial zone is something that also opens up a location. This is a practical example of what happened in Lagos when this guy that does salt, Dangote, all right, due towards Ibejuleki, it was one of his literally skyrocketed that location. In fact, his refinery also made everything around that location increase. All right. And I even heard that the point when he bought that land, it was ridiculously cheap. Okay. But when he had a goal of creating his refinery there, people started going there and buying properties. And before you know it, now the story, like I say, is history. So ensure that you find out the growth potentials of that property you are looking to buy. It will never be a mistake. Like, you will never regret it when it comes to real estate. So when you notice that an area is gradually becoming part of a city expansions plan and the land is becoming strategically automatic, what I mean by that is growing randomly, you're not doing so much about it, then it's somewhere you should pay close attention to and start your real estate investment.
Good, 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 good. You said something very important that actually did ring a bell, and something we should all pay attention to. What goes to a location is what eventually makes that location what it is.
True.
And we're not saying, it's important that I say this too, that some cheap lands will also forever remain cheap. By that I mean they may never really appreciate over time.
Because nothing is happening there.
Exactly. So these are what I'm about to talk about now, some pointers that, or some things that make land stay cheap for a long period of time, right? Because one thing is this: you mentioned something at the start when we are starting, when you said that it's in growth locations that properties grow. It's here in Abuja, I learned that this vocabulary here in Abuja, it's often called growth corridors.
Yeah.
So growth corridors, you hear the airport road corridor, the Karsana corridor.
Yeah.
I think I should research later. Why is it called corridor? Anyway, that's by the way.
Okay.
So if a particular land or a location is far from development corridors, like, for instance, I take you for inspection, I say, let's go. I start taking you inside. By sheer going, you can tell. Sometimes it doesn't need. Some people just want, you said something too good to be true. I take it to such a place, and it's obviously not looking like development is growing. There's not in the news, like you mentioned. There are no other estates. There's nothing. It's only my estate that is inside there. No development around. And I tell you, it's 1 million naira. If it's very far from the corridors of development, like obviously very far, it's likely going to stay very cheap until development starts coming there, which is not in the news, of course. So if it's very far, it's going to also stay cheap for a long time.
Okay.
Same thing with the next point. If there's no planned infrastructure coming, because it's very far and not within the environs that the government has interest in or other estates have interest in, it will stay underdeveloped for a very long time. And actually, accessibility and development are the drivers of value appreciation in real estate.
Exactly.
Right? So if the area has no economic activity in that location, she mentioned the example of what happened in Mejuleki and the Dangote refinery. Because of that singular economic activity, as it were, that came up there, boom, 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 everything begins to go up. So if there's no form of present economic activity and no future economic activity in that place, this has no future activity. Literally, like I said, accessibility is one of the drivers of appreciation. If there's no accessibility there, the roads are not. I mean, someone once told me a story of how, but it didn't happen in this part of Nigeria though. I went for an inspection. They started going to the place. He said as he was going down, noticed that he was going down, signboards were reducing. The number of houses were reducing. He was like, anyway, let's just be going. I mean, for the price, it should be worth it. It should be worth it. This was even before I got into real estate. This was like 5-7 years ago. They were going. He said at some point, he couldn't see signboards. He couldn't see houses. At some point, they parked car
and used
bike. Entered this side. At some point, the bike couldn't stop, and then they walked in. I can't remember the price he bought that land as now, but that now he doesn't even talk about the land again. Nothing has happened around there. It's still just there. We are all hoping that something will happen. My brother, you understand? It's important you observe these things, right? Accessibility, is it in the news? Are other estate companies talking about it? If it is valuable, come on, people will talk about it.
True.
So if you notice these things, there's no access, no infrastructure, no economic activity that's projected or proposed to go in that direction, and it's likely going to stay cheap for a very, very long time.
Wow. So what we'll do now is that in order for you not to make a mistake as a first-time buyer, or if you are going to buy with this we are sharing, you want to buy a location that is prone to massive development, then here are things you have to do or mistakes you have to avoid so that you don't buy wrongly. So the first thing is when you prioritize price over the location strength, you are definitely not getting it right. So you constantly prioritize the location first. The next thing you have to do is also to, when they rush because they want to secure something fast. Securing something fast is one thing, but securing something that is tangible is another. So as much as, oh, this location is trending, I want to know the value. I want to know that the value of this location is also tangible, right? We are not saying that some good location or cheap properties or this place is trending is not good. We're saying that as you are rushing to ask the right questions, ask the documents, ask the everything, make sure that you get it before you proceed. The next thing is, when the next mistake people make is when they follow hype, like I said, instead of research. I just explained that. So don't just follow the hype. All right, research on the property, research on the owners of the property. Who owns this property? If you are talking to a realtor, ask the realtor who owns this property you are marketing. You have to know who you are dealing with. Then the last mistake a lot of first-time buyers or people who buy real estate normally do is they ignore long-term development pattern. And that is what I will call people who buy emotionally. So you buy because of flimsy reasons. Instead of doing that, buy strategically. And that is what we are trying to explain in this video. We get to a point where people now invest knowing that this is going to give me maximum return. This is what I'm looking for. For example, someone can say, oh, I want to land a family house in Gusape. This is a clear goal. I want to build my family house either in Gusape or Sokoro. All right. What is the budget or what is the price range around these locations? And he gets it and start working towards it, right? Another person will say, oh, I want a location that is not too high and that is not too low. I want something middle and all that. So these are goals that will help you definitely not enter into real estate buying by hype. So you buy strategically. You buy with, if I want to do long-term investment, you have to go to locations that eventually it will be worth it. Right? I saw this trending video of that older woman that said she bought a property for 25,000 naira and the property was worth over 25 million. People said, oh, how many years did this stay before you got this? A lot of people countered that because they said, if she had that 25,000 in the bank, would they have given her that 25 million? So that's how people who invest in real estate think about. All right. So I think that's what I have to say in this regard.
See, that's when intelligence overrides emotions.
Exactly.
Because if you must make profit or gain through real estate, you mustn't buy emotionally. You must. A lot of first-time buyers said that, and she has handled that very well. Think long term and do not think emotionally. Don't just be driven by emotions in that moment. So how then can you buy intelligently, right? Emotional buyers just jump in. She has said a lot about it already. I will need to go back to that. But intelligent buying is something like this: research over hype. That line is something you should have in your mind. Research over hype. You know, sometimes there's a popular saying: is it misery likes company or what? Or it likes company. So most people, they don't want to go and make the mistake alone. They'll drag you this life so that if things go wrong, somebody can cry with us.
You console yourselves.
Console each other.
I've
forgotten the exact line, but something about pain likes or misery likes company, something like that. So don't just, even if all your friends, everybody is driving towards a location, still do your research.
Exactly.
Okay?
That's
the
point.
Just do your research. Except, of course, there are exceptions where there's a particular person who is meticulous and research-minded in the people that are moving, that is moving, and you can maybe say, okay, if this researcher is here. But in most cases, still do your research so that you do not end up pointing your fingers in the long run. Okay, and it's important that you also know this. For instance, land can start off cheap and eventually grow.
We have a clear-cut example.
Exactly. I mean, airport road axis, 5.4, I mean 5.5, 5.6 million naira, not up to 3 years.
True.
Right now, the same plot is sitting at 16.4 million naira. It's about to go up again in just a few days from. It's not even up to a month again. But it started really cheap. But over a period of time, it kept going up. And people who bought there at that time, they were strategic because of the location. I mean, for a place where the airport road was located, that before then, the airport road has started working on the roads, expanding the roads. You see that. You could tell, okay, if infrastructural development has started going on here, where's the closest land to this place? That land that is cheap at that time will always grow. So it's intelligent to research, look at what's happening there, and don't just be emotional about it. And emotionally, you shouldn't endure you shouldn't ignore as well is fear. We talked
Yeah.
about it in the live session this morning. You can go back to the channel and watch it. It's fear. So if you do your research and it's right and everything is jumping, and it's definitely going to be a good one, because wealth is definitely built slowly over a period of time.
Exactly.
And when you follow the indices, check it out, the wealth you're going to build is not one that would come with regret, because you went in cheap, did your research, and watched yourself make progress over time.
Wow. So as we round up this live section, we are going to ask some questions, rhetoric questions, so to help you also gain clarity. We want a situation where every buyer, you do your due diligence. In fact, we love clients or prospects who ask questions. They'll literally use question and remove our hand. But we love people like that. It means that those people are knowledgeable. They've watched a lot of videos. So when they're asking you questions, you receive it with good faith and answer them, give them whatever they want to ensure that they make the best buying decision. Like the Hutu you mentioned, I can imagine myself, maybe that time it sold for 5.4, someone coming to tell me, and it was Bush, of course. Somebody
Yeah.
coming to tell me, oh, there's this property along the airport road selling for 5.4 million naira. Is that FCDA property? Come, let me show you. I now get there. Now look around. Sincerely, if you've not understood this topic we are talking about,
Exactly.
you will never buy that location. You always complain. We have people like that. They always complain, oh, this place is far. It's bush. But at the end of the day, they'll come back and buy it way expensive. Meanwhile, they knew when those places were selling cheap. So imagine if you had a better understanding of what we are sharing. It will help you know locations that are emerging. You buy it affordable, knowing that you know the same time. Like sometimes I imagine people who bought at 5.4. At the time I went to the office to make some research, someone who bought at the first price was there to see his plot. He had paid. So during the last price increase, he came. A lot of people were in the office. So his realtor was trying to say, oh, that see now you bought, and the guy now did like this. Imagine I bought 2 plots. All right. He bought for 5.4 and he moved from then this last price to 16 million naira. Do you understand? And he got his location was still sweet. Like from the site plan, what he chose was still sweet. Right. So that's the benefit of people. Like I said when I started, real estate is quite a risky investment. But people, if you have to do it well, you have to research, do your research, do major due diligence, and get on with it. That's how you can make a fortune, build wealth, build massive rental income using real estate. And these questions I would like to ask is, would you rather buy a cheaper land far away in a smaller land in a strategic location? All right, think about it. Would you rather buy a cheaper land far away or a smaller land in a strategic location? Very sensitive question. So think about it, and maybe you can share with us in the comment section, because this is where most people get it wrong. They think size equals value. So in real estate, location and direction of growth matters more than size. That property you bought that may be far away eventually can become something that will turn your life around, literally. But like I said, also goals matter. There's nothing wrong with you starting off in a luxury location. That is what you are looking for at the time. But if you are starting off real estate and you want to make money using real estate, you have to think beyond the location. You have to think beyond the price, I mean to say. You have to think for the location. And that is how you make maximum returns for your money. What's that? What is that?
Okay, so we're about to draw the curtains. What's your takeaway from this?
Yeah.
So there's cheap land that is not strategic, and that is the type you should stay away from. But then there's cheap land that's strategic. That's the type you should look into. And then there's strategic land that is also not cheap. It's also a good buy.
Yes.
But if it is cheap and not strategic, stay away from it. If it is cheap and strategic, meaning you've checked the indices, infrastructure, all those things is in the news and all of that, then it's one you should look at. And then if it is not cheap and also strategic, it's something you should look at. But how about if it is not cheap and also not strategic? Run now. You should still run. Okay, so there you have it. Cheap is good if it is strategic, and there's nothing wrong with cheap lands at all.
Yeah.
So then something you also said, I should say, please always do your due diligence. Never
It
neglect
can
that.
never be overemphasized.
Always do your due diligence. Cheap or expensive, or no matter the price tag, do your due diligence. Confirm that it is in tandem with the law, especially here in Abuja. Okay,
Exactly.
it's very, very important.
All right.
So that's the much we can bring your way this evening or today. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, do well to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell. And if there's someone who has been doghead about buying cheap land and not involving strategy, share this video with that person now. Uncle Kolawale, share it with him. Share it with him right now.
Somebody has
He
collected.
needs to watch this video before he spends money and cries later. Okay.
Yeah.
Until we come your way next time, enjoy a great day. Bye for now.
Bye.